strapbook-wise from Parabellum. How much are they going to pull out here against OCG to make sure they can make it to playoffs? We'll see what bans first, though. Parabellum on defense first. What do they get banned first? It's probably going to be Ying or Thatcher, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was about to say Parabellum. Well, I would say Ying is sometimes banned against them, but the Thatcher ban still is one that makes sense. Not one that is going to be crazy by any metric. OCG, I'd likely expect a hard breach ban as well, or potentially a Ying, since they are going against Parabellum and teams do like to ban the Ying against PBN. Yep. There you go. Ying will be taken off the board. Spirits, not only on Oregon, but Spirits in general, has shown a bit of a tendency to play that Ying, sometimes on Oregon, sometimes on other maps.
Yeah, well, Kaid banned next. Not too crazy to see on side of Oregon, though. You still have the Maverick available, so Kaid is not crazy of a ban to see. And see a ban next would probably be Valkyrie, I'm assuming, or maybe Womai.
Maybe.
No, it's Mira, actually.
Mira. I mean, it's Mira. It's
Mira.
Wow. On Oregon as well, a map.
Crazy.
A lot of the times, a counter to Mira is if there's a prevalence of soft destruction and verticality, you can counter the Mira window that way. Not a lot of that on Oregon, especially on like basement. Not really any floors you can open to deal with a Mira window vertically, especially if you place them properly. There are some spots, for example, if you place a Mira window in E-box that can get destroyed vertically, but if you do that, you're trolling. So, or not necessarily.
If you do that,
you aren't inherently trolling. It's just very easy to destroy that Mira window. So, don't do that if you take anything away from today. But again, Mira's banned, so it doesn't matter. We're not going to see it.
Those are tips from both links. He's going to teach you all the pro tips here in CL.
Yeah. My very minimal comp experience in like the amateur scene 2 years ago, where I played, I think, one scrim. Really showing right now.
Dude, that's so much experience. You are the king of experience right now. But I'm just kidding. We go upstairs to our first defense from Parabellum, man. Well, the defense looks pretty same as always. Though there is a buck on the side of OCG, so they are maybe hinting at maybe doing a different play, maybe going for that big window white stairs play instead, because the buck is very important for dealing with maybe players inside of kids, players who are playing maybe in the corner of bunk, playing that corner where you can just hide and wait for someone jumps down big window. But there also is a setup from PB, because usually you will have players either play security, they'll play kitchen, they can deny a big window push from security.
Also, leading Valkyrie up against PB feels like a dangerous asset. A team that already, players like Eska and Spirits, they can thrive in any situation, but giving them intel, 3 black eye cameras, giving Eska as well Valkyrie. Remember, Benny, if you recall, this exact same operator that Eska clutched that 2v5 against, I believe it was against, no, I know it was against Lenny, but I believe that was on Valkyrie.
Yeah, that was on Valkyrie. That was because he had the information. The team was pinging out those players inside of a statuary with those cams.
I'm sure the Valkyrie being left up won't be important whatsoever, especially in the hands of Eska.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's not going to matter all that much. But OCG, they are going, as you can tell, not only from the clear from the west side, but the prevalence of the buck as well. They are going for that big window take. The key here, clear out down below. Hold below that big window. Get somebody on white as well. Play with the bomb, hops into big window, starts to get the bomb down. But the problem here, Parabellum, they're held inside a kitchen. Penguin will finally rotate out. So a minute then, OCG already have some necessary control for this kind of take.
Necessary control, but there are still players who are lurking. Penguin dropped down. He went through meeting, and he may have dropped. Actually, he may have pushed back to meeting, or maybe playing big tower for the moment. But there's still these players lurking in positions that could stop this play from happening. There's some air jets placed out to stop some aggression from the players, but really, so far, they're wasting time just trying to flush out these players and not really pushing out so far, really pushing them out. They're just kind of waiting for them to peak. So OCG so far, not much has been done and no control has really been taken.
No, they have that first little bit, but nothing really to work on beyond that. GXD will start to make his way on through, released from the shackles of Hard Breach, put on Buck. He'll try to make an entry happen, but nobody's there. Penguin has already rotated back up, will reinforce a rotate made inside of Attic to make clearing there a bit more difficult. Might not even be a facet of OCG's push, and now that they do have control downstairs, they can start to make this work. But look, a minute 50 seconds already on the clock. Bone will finally start to clear out white, but it's gonna be a game of catch-up for OCG, trying to fast track and get this control out of the way with. And in a 5v5 with black eye cameras, C4s, maestro cams, smoke canisters, everything that Parabellum have at their disposal, it's going to be difficult to vault in this window, let alone get the bomb down.
Yeah, so at least they've cleared out some of these, these evil eyes. They've cleared out these shields around them, but without the Buck needs to go to work inside the kitchen and deny these people from playing inside the kitchen. He jumps in. Devil's made his way into the corner. He can get the plant down, but as I said before, the C4s are big here. The smokes leads to a bit of damage, but Kool-Aid swings out, gets the kill. He's denying a push. The plant goes down. The smoke finishes him off, but players left and right are dying on OCG's side with the plant down. Kool-Aid can go to work and just disable his plant now. Actually, he went down to the Sonar smoke.
Unlucky. Zoinkos will rotate down below. Will do a hell of a lot of damage to Penguin. 1 HP on the bomb right now, but with Nova down below, Zoinkos has to rotate over. A second left, he vaults in, cut down by Sonar. Very narrowly could have stopped that retake from PB. There was a small window where that reality was possible, but they'll manage to defuse. They'll take round number 1. And again, so much utility was dumped at that big window as OCG jumped in. Didn't really have much of a chance trying to fight through all those smoke canisters, and Kool-Aid with the Alda.
So yeah, they swung perfectly. They swung great times to deal with those players on white that dealt with players who were, pushing up, and they didn't really, again, the buck was brought, but they never really pushed out or tried to deal with players or try to hold below to stop from these players from pushing out. So again, Kool-Aid can swing out. People and kids can swing as well on these players because there's no vertical pressure from any player from OCG. So unfortunately, OCG is losing fights that, they knew where they were. They knew where they were. PB understood where these players are going to be because of how obvious the play was going to happen. At least got the plant down. But again, the smoke cannons, the C4s, players winning their gunfights. Just unfortunate for OCG couldn't cover that and couldn't, close out that round. So we go on to our next defense from PB. We go downstairs to laundry and storage. And now, so they're still bringing the buck though. So I wonder, are they going to go for that same, back pillar play?
Maybe. There is potential for it. Parabellum certainly like to not only contest back pillar directly, but also from those holes made inside the single panel, so would not be surprised to them. Penguin has also taken the Valkyrie away from Esko, who's now rotated them loose. They've done I believe that's called a trade. Might be the exact term for it. Quid pro quo, if you will. But for OCG, it's the exact same setup. They don't have, obviously, Sledge Buck, whatever it is, you're not going to be doing soft destruction, but they do lack, I believe, a set of nades you could have brought with that sledge if you wanted to. There is also, Maverick is on the board. It could be brought by OCG, but they're keeping him at the wayside. I think it's a bit of a risk. Not only do you lose that set of nades, and while you do have some flashbangs to clear out those Jaeger ADSs, I don't know, not having those nades or another hard breach in the hands of the Maverick feels like a bit of a risk to me. Maybe you disagree, Benny, but that's my opinion at least.
It depends. It depends on how aggressive, we see Parabellum playing upstairs. If they think that they're not going to be roaming, then maybe the second hard breacher isn't really that big of a deal because they believe that, Devil's not going to get fragged before getting those, getting those X-Kairos down. Hard to say. I don't know what's going on in his heads. But I do agree it can be a bit, a bit crazy, a bit
risky.
Scary, a bit risky to lose that player if it happens. But we'll see what happens so far. Because otherwise, they're just clearing upstairs. They're going through the motions, making sure nobody is aggressively playing upstairs. And PB at this point, nobody is. They've all returned to sites, and now understandably, what is going to be play from OCG. They have all the tools that they have behest, but again, like I said before, or like you said, maybe having only one set of grenades might be a problem when it comes to execute.
Especially if you lose a player like Zoinkers, who has that other set of destruction, those impact lifelines, it's a bit of a problem. Or if you even lose Devil, no more hard breaching. But thankfully, again, for them, Parabellum aren't playing aggressively. They're playing on the sites. They don't really need to worry actively about somebody being lost to a roamer. Unless somebody goes for a rotate up big tower stairs or freezer stairs, gets a pick, then rotates back down. That's about the only thing that could strike at OCG right now when it comes to their lineup. But they do have to start pushing into the site. They might be able to open these hatches, but when it comes to getting in positions to destroy these Goyo shields or those Banshees, that's what OCG are struggling with right now. A minute left, they have this E-box hatch open. They're starting to move down to big tower side, but they need to actually start clearing things out. They'll go for a drop on E-box. The flashbangs go on in, trying to blind the player both close inside of supply and inside of pillar. The smoke canister goes out in turn, chokes out the drop, makes it too dangerous for OCG to go, and that drop down is delayed for just a couple more seconds. That's a couple more seconds that Parabellum can use to set up their defense.
Well, looks like so far they're trying to push for this back pillar stairs, but nobody opens E-box, so Spirits can play here. Spirits can kill his own. Penguin has his back. Esko with the kill his own on Nova and dropping down E-box again on into the waiting hands of these PB players who are ready and waiting. Zoinker's the last one alive now. It's a 1v5 all of a sudden within the next 10 seconds, and that play was horribly wrong for OCG.
Yeah, they tried to clear it out with the flashes. The smoke. the smoke canister went out, so they couldn't drop. They then tried to clear it out with the nade. The player just rotated off, and then when they dropped, there was just nothing going their way in terms of utility. A flawless round for Parabellum, and basically a defense that did not meet any hiccups along the road to victory. They didn't roam. OCG got all the control they wanted off the site. When it came to actually pushing on in, their plan was just, all right, we'll chuck some flashes into E-Box, into Pillar, into Supply, try to blind those players, and we'll push on through. And that is a push a lot of teams often go with, and that can work. But the issue is, if they rotate off in time and maybe a player on big back tower stairs isn't able to cut them off, or if the flashes simply don't land and they can still actively watch, they can just cut you down. And if you don't win one or two of those gunfights, the push is completely nullified. That was the problem with OCG.
One thing I wonder too, so they only brought the Hibana, and I wasn't sure, maybe because I did see there was a bit of a hiccup with those X-Kairos. They didn't have any X-Kairos left to open E-Box up to watch Harry Potter, because that's where Spirits played.
True.
Spirits played Harry Potter, which didn't allow the player in Big Tower Stairs to push down. Spirits gets the kill. Penguins playing the hallway has his back for when they drop E-Box, and that entire thing is nullified. The entire play is nullified. So I wonder...
Benny.
What's up?
You know what that could have been alleviated by?
For what?
Another Heart Breacher.
Whoa, there are other Heart Breachers in this game?
Oh, you're right, my bad. That's fine. I won't speak next time.
Actually, does the Buck have a Heart Breach tool?
I actually don't know. It's a good question.
I think he does actually. I think he has a Heart Breach tool. So did you need 2 sets of flashes and maybe have him bring the Heartbreak tool instead? Then you can Heart Breach, one of the hatches, and then you could open up E-Box. I don't know. That's just me thinking, but I don't know.
Either way, if you bring the Maverick, you have that extra set of nades. But again, that is not the lineup OCG are going for. But now it's two rounds in a row for Parabellum to go to the tertiary bomb side of Kitchen. And Zoinker is already inside a bathroom, getting some very quick control inside a shower. Unfortunately, it's not dining, so he's not directly outside the site as he might otherwise have been. But still, getting that control early on, just setting up a beachhead, a checkpoint, just to get that control for your team. Still good, get that out of the way and do it quickly. But now, OCG have decided they're going to try and tackle this roam, as they need to. It's a bit difficult to attack this site if you have not cleared out mainly Attic as one of the big reasons. But if you're going for a full clear, it's also a little bit risky. If you lose somebody, whether it be from inside the site or somebody from Big Tower, even losing one body can make this clear a hell of a lot more difficult.
Yeah, being able to control that top floor when it comes to this meeting Kitchen defense is huge. Being able to deny these players from rotating back in or pushing anchors off site is really big and needed for the defense. But the question, or not defense, but the attack. So the question is, can they deal with this though, as they're trying to push through Master Bedroom, push onto that roam clear? And so far, these Zoinkers has control of White Penguin with the C4 on GXD, pushing from Trophy. So now Zoinker is kind of all alone on his lonesome, trying to push up White by himself. He's able to destroy the shield at least going into kids, but still, he doesn't have any other pressure. There's no other pressure anywhere else to deal with these roamers.
On top of that, there's pressure down below as well to aid the roamers up top. Both Kool-Aid and Sonar in positions to look up through these holes and take down anybody trying to push in through White, but it's unsuccessful. Bone will find Penguin, land a late trade to avenge GXD from earlier, but there's still Spirits up top and only 1:10 left. It's a bit risky, but if he wants to play his life, he could, but he's so close to the hatch, he could feasibly get a kill on the player trying to rotate inside of Attic or coming in through the doorway and then head on down. Minute left, he'll finally cut his losses, content with wasting 2 minutes of OCG's time on the top floor. With Eska, he's hungry. He wants to pick up where Spirits left off. OCG might not be aware of the player rotating up from Armory. We saw one barely swing out from Attic. Bone will activate his Yana clone and will spot the Valkyrie at the last second. That's important. It'll force Eska back down, but he doesn't have a C4 as well. No more C4s, in fact, on the side of Parabellum. Now that Eska can go and strengthen the site, Spirits with the kill on the Bone as well. How are OCG going to move from the second floor to the first?
Wait, he's still up there. Spirits is still in Attic, isn't he?
He might have rotated
Spirits
back
is still in Attic. He's still in Attic.
Oh, my Lord.
They don't know. He slams Devil, and now the diffuser's down inside of kids. They have to retrieve the diffuser, and they have to push onto sites. This is going poorly, and now they're smoking the drop as well. So this play from OCG at this point seems to be nullified. Sonar gets the kill. Eska finishes them off. That's Parabellum's win right there.
And for 3 games in a row, a 3-0 to start things out. Funny how those trends sometimes happen in games like that. But a 3-0 for Parabellum so far. They've won all 3 of their sites. Not particularly close. either, while the bomb did go down in round number 1, it still seemed like Parabellum were in heavy control of that retake throughout the remaining seconds of the round. That's the site they're going back to. OCG, they've kept this buck throughout the entire lineup, so I imagine on dorms we'll see a cocktail take again. It might, or not a cocktail take, excuse me, big window take. My bad. I got my takes that are normally associated with picking a buck mixed up.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
But so they could. They might not. If they do, one of their big problems was dealing with the players inside of dorms. Sonar stayed alive. Kool-Aid didn't matter. In fact, he just ended up swinging out, killing Bone on white stairs. So more actively using your control down below, I think, is step number 1 for OCG if they go for that same take.
Yeah, I guess big thing too is I don't remember exactly, but I think maybe they wasted too much time clearing out Penguin and Spirits downstairs, and that's kind of the reason why they didn't go to work and actually use, you know, all of GXD's skeleton key to try and create pressure. Maybe that's what happened. I can't say, but yeah, I do agree. I feel like they need to create more pressure with that skeleton key. They need to open up more of the floor and make it more difficult for these players to swing things like white, to swing out and to stop these players from pushing into sight. Because especially because Devil walks in, he gets the plant down, but he pretty much gets cut off from the rest of the team because the rest of the team is getting swung by PB. Hard to say. We'll see what happens though. And again, they have this roam downstairs. Last time OCG were able to at least cause those players to retreat, but that's all they really did. There's no picks, there's no kills. They just wasted their time and walked away.
Right now, they're playing in the same spots, no adjustment made by PB, so this is a great time for OCG to showcase, hey, we're not out of it. We can make those adaptations. They'll start out with the same thing, GXD making his way into showers, opening up those 2 rotate holes, and Eska playing extremely aggressively on the bottom of these white stairs. Just as the drone comes out, he lands a pre-fire on Bone, almost onto Nova as well, but he's able to land the trade. 50 HP still done to the Nomad, so he didn't come away with nothing. He got the kill on the Yana, but now you have lost a powerful player at the C4. But Benny, I don't know about you, but Valkyrie Fiana, solid in my mind.
C4 for 2 grenades, you know, it's even
Dawn
trade,
6 as well, Yana clone.
Yeah, I think I say it's an even trade personally, but hard to say. I think it's even trade either way, but still, it isn't good though, because anyway, they need those grenades, they need the intel utility as well, and Kool-Aid swinging out, taking out the player, I believe either down below. It looks like, yeah, it looks like he was creating angles from below, and Kool-Aid takes advantage of his own angle and deals with the buck. So now that soft destruction that we inquired may have been nice to use more of this round was well off the board. They can't use it anymore, and Kool-Aid now has a great spot holding down this angle down in 90 below. So now at this point, OCG has to rotate for a different take.
And they still have Devil on the hard breach to open up Master Bedroom. With a minute 20 as well, they have some time to open up some of these walls, but in all likelihood, it will come down to the frags, in which they'll get the first, even at 3-3. They'll find Kool-Aid turning his back at exactly the wrong time and even things off. Kool-Aid was instrumental on repelling the push last time, but the one player who was even more instrumental was Sonar with those 3 smoke canisters. It was a big window take last time, and there's still someone playing out there this time. Technically to go for the swing, but Spearus with determination takes the head off of Devil. Zoinkers will now rotate over. I guess it was a rotate over to bedroom, and then Zoinkers decided to rotate back, but now that his teammate's dead, he'll have to pick up that diffuser, but him and Nova, the latter of which on 25 HP, are both separated. He'll spot the arm of Spirits, put him down to 35 as well, but with the 2 attackers separated, Parabellum just need to isolate, play for their trades on either one side or the other, and they can make this work. Zoinkers will start to concuss. You'll get 1. It'll show that Spirits is still playing just to the right of that big window, but how is he going to push in? With the player sitting inside of dorms behind that as well, he's going to make the right play. He'll rotate over, even spot the legs down below, is able to land the head and turn, but the smoke canisters, the final one comes through. 10 more seconds, Zoinkers will have to wait, but he accidentally downs Penguin! He doesn't even know! It's all left up to Sonar, but they're both on low HP. Zoinkers will choke the life out of himself, but he can land the pre-fire! A 1v2 from Sonar to get Parabellum their 4th round in a row.
Oh, that was a 1v2. Didn't even know, but there was no time left, so I had to rush to the kill. But let's start off from the beginning, though. Eska getting that first pick. One play, losing Yana early. Still unfortunate that the utility you could have been used to destroy shields, destroy utility. Makes it different for the attack once more. A second kill comes through because Kool-Aid's holding from below, has his own angle, I think, into security, which, you know, denies the buck from playing that below, playing that vertical, using that skeleton key to their advantage. You're in a 3v4, you're in a 3v5. They walk up the stairs, leads able to get a pick on a unaware Kool-Aid because they rotated quickly to the other side by trophy. And at that point, though, the diffuse is on the far side big window. That person dies, so he gets to go grab it. You're now in a 2v4 and almost made it a 1v2 there. Almost had a round there.
Almost is the key word there. Almost.
Almost. Yeah,
Zonkers ends up, since he, to be fair, he's in no position, he doesn't have an option. He has to push those white stairs. I think he mistimed it just a little bit, ends up downing himself. It's all on Nova at that point, who's working with a little bit too little intel. Unlucky. Looks left instead of looking right. That happens to the best of us. But now 4 rounds in a row. OCG, even if they win these next 2 rounds, still not a bad spot to find yourself on Oregon attack. And they will make one adjustment that I am a big fan of. They will go to the Flores. Zonkers was on the Zofia previously, so while you are losing that bit of powerful utility, you have those 4 Rotero drones. Excellent to counter that Goyo, that shield in the hands of Kool-Aid, and even a Malusi or any sort of utility to have, even to force a defender out of their position, like Spirits in Harry Potter, Benny, that you talked about last time. If you want to force a player out of that position, Flores is a great operator to do it with. But again, I feel like they're hamstringing themselves in the utility once again. Keeping the buck, but taking away the Zofia, even though you get the Flores, you're still working with less than what you could be otherwise.
Yeah, I do wonder what is the need for Buck on this site, really. Is Buck required? Is it just like, do they really need the skeleton key in the situation, or they need the flashes? Hard to say. I don't know what's going on in their heads. I have no clue what's going on in the back of, OCG's mind and what's going on with their team play, but therefore they keep the Buck every single time, and they seem to think they need that skeleton key or the flashes for their plays. We'll see how it works out, dropping Sophia for Flores. And yeah, like you said, well, the big thing to talk about last time was the fact that yes, the Flores could help in dealing with Spirits, but if you just open up the E-box, use 2 of those X-Kairos to open up a hole into Harry Potter, you can deny Spirits from playing that spot. Though I will say, I wondered, is it because they're running out of X-Kairos to use and they can't open up E-box because of that, or was there a mishap last time with those X-Kairos? Hard to say. We'll see what happens. It seems to be the same play from OCG. They're opening up hatches. They're making sure they're droning out this big tower side, pillar, elbow. Can they make it happen?
Oh, let's start to move on in. GXD gaining a little bit more intel, and they're really all focused on this side, waiting to try to get that intel to figure out what happens, but it looks like they might be stalling out a bit. In fact, a Yana clone will drop down E-box, spotted by Sonar. Shot will likely have spotted Spirits playing in this position, as well as Sonar the moment that Yana clone was destroyed, and another drone will come on down to try to gain a bit more intel. A little bit redundant there, but the drone economy for OCG is still fairly solid. 6 drones total, 5 on the field. Of course, some of those are flank drones, but you still have plenty of drones to get intel with, but not a lot of time because 2 minutes have passed by now, and they're going for the same E-box take that they tried to do before. Sonar will rotate out, warded off by the flashes, and they try to pre-fire Spirits Harry Potter. He gets 2 kills. Sonar a third as well. The push is completely stopped, even by Nova, who kills his own teammate on the drop down. Another flawless round for Parabellum. And that just seemed like a push that was doomed to fail for OCG based on how it went.
Again, Spirits was huge there. Like, I don't know if they don't have enough heart breach or what the issue is, but if you just open up the E-box and you maybe could grenade Spirits playing that position, like, there's other ways to do it other than just jumping down the hatch and peeking him. Because that's what they did this time, rather than, at least this time they tried to do something to deal with Spirits, but for the most part, that play was just, hey, OCG sets up, they open up the hatches, they set up for a elbow and big tower push. They don't take control pillar yet though, because they can't open up as much as because they only bring 1 hard breacher. They jump down the hatch. They try to at least deal with Spirits, but again, Spirits is playing, waiting for it. He has another play with him playing pillar, so he doesn't worry about big tower really. He worries about hearing the drop, gets the kill on the person running out, kills the player on the big tower stairs too on top of it.
One thing I just realized, Benny.
What's up?
OCG have 5 kills combined.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about kills. I feel like I'm just gonna. It'd be just. It feels bad, man. When I think I talk about the kills.
Unlucky.
Unlucky. And so he goes, yeah, and then like Nova has negative kills because he killed its own last round.
True. Excellent point.
10 seconds to go.
But so for the final side, Benny, maybe it's an ego challenge, maybe just whatever it is. Parabellum, they're going to dining. We do not see this site all that often anymore. Maybe it's because this meeting is a lot stronger. The recent meta changes, what have you. We just don't see this site all too much. But you also have a small tower hold coming out from Penguin. Inside a small tower, I suppose. It is called a small tower hold after all. But this is something that I feel like we actually have seen in CL previously. I don't exactly know when, but I want to feel like I have from Parabellum as well.
We've seen it in Honor. I think it was Honor plays before.
That's what I thought.
In Lenny, they'll have the same shield here, and then they'll have someone playing below by the door with the shield. And then you see that hole made by them. They'll play so they can hold this window from below as well. Not only from that section, but see, right there. they can hold that window from below and help out him as well. Though I say that Eska's dead elsewhere by, it looks like by bunks. So it looks like Zoinkers will get that kill to start us off. And that's a good start for OCG. It's probably the best start they've had so far this entire half. And now the wonder, can they deal with Penguin here, though? And of course, there's ADS to try and stop him blowing the shield up. But of course, Penguin, he does not expect them to really flush him out. He gets blasted by his own Vulcan shield. Great job. And OCG, this could be their one round on attack.
Yeah, so far, not only a good kill by Zoinkers onto Eska, but great coordination to clear out Penguin from that position. That's always the risk with that small tower hold. You are a little bit isolated if a team is able to coordinatedly destroy that shield. Not a lot of places you can go, especially if you're a Goyo and you're playing aggressively like Penguin did. So a 3v5, minute 35 left on the clock. Devil, plenty of time to start opening up these walls with the Hibana. This is a site where, thankfully, you don't need that much hard destruction beyond that Hibana and opening up a few key sections of the wall. And with that buck as well, they can destroy that mute device. And now a 2v5, Nova able to find the kill onto Sonar. This should be OCG's first round.
Yeah, I think Sonar jumped out the big window trying to capitalize, and what a shot from Spirits. Down goes Bone, just a little bit of a head through that little slit of the window, and now Spirits is trying to make up for the man. Just flash grenade right in his face. Kula takes out GXD, and they're slowly but surely bringing down the count. Devil, though, fights back, and now it's a 1v3. They're unaware of his position. Spirits takes ones. He has no clue where Devil is, so Devil on the back says to finish him off. And it's one round for OCG, but it's a 1-5 half for them.
Makes me think maybe Parabellum just should have stuck with the meeting hold. No point getting too crazy with it, but still
It's still a 5-1 half.
But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's still a 5-1 half. So moving forward, how Parabellum gonna do this? Well, they'll start things out on their lineup with an operator that Benny and I we did not see on the first half. It's a Maverick. Maverick in tandem with the Hibana and also the Flores in the hands of Penguin. And I'm literally about to say, last week on Oregon, or I guess the last time you and I casted Group A, Benny, we saw a blitz on Oregon by Wichita Wolves. That was call out.
Yeah, it was call out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that was on basement. This time they're attacking dorms.
That was, yeah, no, he did play it on dorms actually too as well. Actually, that one round.
Oh, that's
was
true.
one round.
He
He jumped in the window of attic, pushes the player who had the shield inside of attic. So of course you have to deal with the blitz and the guy behind him. I think it was Forrest. Deals them immediately. So still can work very well.
I think actually later that day we also saw Spirits on the blitz later on. So that was a Playday where I think we saw blitz in 1 out of the 3 matches we actually in 3 of the 4 matches we saw. So
I think we did. Yeah, blitz was really big that day. And I think about blitz last week.
And I guess it's here. Spirits had his Ying ban. He was like, all right, well, I'm playing blitz. You can't stop me. And of course, you might be thinking, oh, blitz. Well, that must mean rush. Well, not necessarily. If we're talking about how Wichita Wolves played it, they would sometimes get in quick with the aggression, then back out. Sometimes they would just wait to use him until later in the round. That's the attic example. Yeah. Right now, it looks like Parabellum are going for that same style. They're just going to go along their normal take, and then they'll use Spirits later on to get that map control.
Yeah, definitely. Using that, especially in the face of shields, and you sometimes don't have the necessary utility to deal with certain shields, having a blitz to push off the player behind the shield is perfect. You know, a shield, you have that shield, you really can't deal with a blitz if he runs at you like that, so you got to back off and retreat. So it depends on how you use it. He can be used quite often, but big thing here is the fact there's 3 players from OCG downstairs roaming. If they're able to rush and they're able to, deny these players from rotating and cut them off from coming back to site, this could be huge. But again, it depends. Already, there's one player runs up Astro's armory stairs and nobody has Spirits back.
All right, so the person outside main door was on a drone and was not able to cover Spirits, and Zoinkers just flanked up and went unnoticed by Penguin. That's unfortunate. Penguin, again, being the one on the drone, did not manage to see it. Nova will jump out small tower and even finds Penguin, who was that Flores. You do still have your 2 hard breachers and still some destruction, not only the nades in the hands of Kool-Aid, but also in the pockets of Eska. But losing that Flores and also losing that Blitz, who Spirits was very eager to get that bit of map control. Even though they'll clear out Nova, it's still an advantage for OCG. And Parabellum now actually have to start moving into attic with not that much utility at their disposal and having not destroyed much on the site. A pick on a Devil, though, is exactly what they'll need in this situation. And even Bone found through the wall, it seemed like. Put on the floor, not in a position to get res. Somebody would have to cross an angle, whether it be big window or attic, in order to get him. So he might just be down for the moment.
Well, there was one play coming from Master. They may be able to pick him up. So at this point, you have one on the Master side, one inside of Kids. Kool-Aid here is big here. Can they push in the Kids, though? GXD's trying to stop them, push a big window. GXD knows one's an attic, and Kool-Aid here is looking for the GXD. Back and forth they look. Nobody finds them. Zoinkers will get back to Bone and be able to pick them up. But if they can make their push into sight, well, they're not ready for it. But Kool-Aid goes down, shot down by Zoinkers. And of course, at this point, now the smoke is ready for it. Down goes Sonar as well. So now these last two, it's Eska. He's by himself. Kool-Aid is down in front of him, but of course, if he tries to pick him up, this noise could be the sound cue to jump in and try to take that fight. But so far, OCG, they're playing discipline. They're waiting for it. They're waiting for this push. They're waiting for the calls before they make any aggressive actions. Zork in a great place here, waiting for the push. And yeah, it seems pretty dire here for them. But a grenade pushed into the rounds. Eska with a great grenade as per usual. I believe they call him Eska Grenades because he is quite the role model. Now they made the way into Kids. The plant goes down with Kool-Aid. Eska now just has to cover. There's a lot of angles to cover, though.
There are a lot of angles, but the bomb will go down successfully. Not looking at Attic. That's exactly where Zoinkers peaks. One goes down. Bone will finish him off as well. A narrow clutch by Kool-Aid and Eska, but OCG will manage the retake. I would even call that a retake at a certain point with how quick the round ended after the bomb went down.
That was a great, just a swing from, I can't say, a synced swing from both players.
Succinct swing, I think was the words you were looking for.
Yeah, I was trying to say that. I just can't say because so many S's.
Swing in tandem, coordination, chemistry, a lot of words you could use there, but it worked for OCG. Got their second round on the board. And do keep in mind, this is the first game and you have not been paying attention today, Parabellum need to just win this game in either overtime or regulation, but mainly regulation, definitely the comfortable one, because if this goes to overtime, a whole lot of variables get introduced that were not there before. So Parabellum are looking to close this out in regulation. It's still 5-2. We'll bring the blitz a second time in a row. Still very possible for them, the favorites, to come away with this on their attacking half. They just have to start with one round on the board, because if they do, it's match point at that point.
It is match point. It's one more. I don't know, that last round, though, that was unfortunate for the blitz, though. Spirits walks up, and unfortunately, like you said before, the guy was on his, main window, or main door was just on his drone at the time and could not cover. So he was just running up armory stairs. I guess you wouldn't expect it more than anything, really.
Yeah, probably not, but again, that's why intel is so important. You need to know that Zoinkers is there. You can't just let that slide. Because then he just makes a play like that. Kills your blitz, kills spirits as well. That's like the heart and soul of the team right there, at least in that round. You can't be doing that. Come on.
Come on, PB. You can't just let that happen. Come on. Well, here we go on to the basement, onto storage and laundry for our next defense from OCG, and the blitz is being brought once again. The question is it going to be a laundry freezer play with that blitz? Maybe introduce that what Ying would cause them, that entry to allow them to push in a site, or are they going to go for that back tower play we saw OCG do so many times?
Sonar will try to send a drone up, and it ricochets back down. Unlucky, the other drone is quickly shot by Zoinkers, but now they know that there is somebody playing very aggressively in T3 right now. In fact, he's playing in T3, which is almost an inherently aggressive position, especially when Parabellum are trying to clear this out. He'll immediately drop down. Doesn't want to stay out there too long. Honestly, probably the best decision. It's very difficult to get out of that spot once Parabellum, or any team in general, would decide to start to clear you out. So 50 seconds wasted, maybe a little bit more based on trying to make sure and see where Zoinkers went. Good play by Zoinkers.
I think he shot like 4 drones too.
True, that is also a good point.
I think that's a big thing there. He sat on T3, got out alive, and shot like 4 drones. So that's a lot of intel lost by PB, and now they have 6 drones. They still have 5 drones available, but will the 5 drones be enough to get intel they need? And that's what Clash on the board from Devil. That's probably the difference here from OCG. So without that intel, and if Clash or Devil can waste more time on this push, this could be a dead end for PB on this push. We'll see what happens, though. They still have time to rotate. They still have time to change up their play if they want to, but the question is, can they clear elbow, though? Because, last time we saw OCG could not take control elbow. Actually, no. At this point, OCG have abandoned elbow. Never mind.
Won't even contested, maybe even getting off a little bit early. You probably could have pressed your luck there just a little bit longer, but hey, I can at least appreciate cutting your losses and not wanting to take risks, because I don't like risk. I'm a very nervous person. But that does mean that Parabellum are free to just move on into elbow, use that Rotero drone, send it on in, and take down that bulletproof cam. But the issue here is that Clash, no Zofia on the board for Parabellum. They have to make do with either those nades or even the Rotero drone if they want, but it will be much more difficult due to the exclusion of that operator. Spirits will immediately rush in through elbow, maybe because OCG have read into the potential of a blitz. Now the entire reason, you can see he charged into elbow to try and clear it out, and they were already gone. So he'll just back on out, and now they have to decide, okay, what do we want to do here? Where do we want to send spirits? What walls do we want to open up? They'll start to open that single panel, and they'll come face-to-face with Devil on that Clash, who is still unobstructed in his play, not removed by Parabellum just yet, and nobody really in a spot to try and deal with him. 30 seconds left. Zoinkers is backed up into small closet with the C4. A final toxic canister, the second of 3 will go out by GXT. The C4 in turn, it blows up, incinerates Kool-Aid. The fuser dropped inside of E-Box. Parabellum seemed a bit stunned. What do they do now? They'll smoke off long as Eska and Spirits try to move on in both. Only 10 seconds left. Not a lot of angles there disposal. It's incumbent on Spirits, and he's felled by Penguin. A 2v4. Sonar, the only one on the coverage, the last one alive. OCG, they take their 3rd round in a row.
What a round from OCG. Again, the time was wasted. The fact that, again, like I said before, they had Zoinkers on T3. He wasted only a minute, but a minute they wasted in 4 drones, 3 or 4 drones wasted in that event. And then they go for a push into site. But by time they cleared out the whole entire, that pillar side, they were able to take control elbow, they took control of all of that. There was only like 40 seconds left to go. They still had 2 smoke canisters available to stop them, and then of course a great C4 for one player, the Malusi of Zoinkers, I believe, again, to deny them pushing in. And even though he had the blitz of Spirits, they had the angles lead, they had control of Freezer, they had control of that rotate in the site. They could deal with Spirits pushing in. S gets killed of his own. Actually, no, Spirits get killed by Penguin, actually, so I know it wasn't even OCG that killed him. So Spirits could have made a play there, but Penguin didn't want them to win that round, apparently.
Penguin, bit unlucky there. Why does it... Dude, like, I got the joke at first, like, but Spirits gets TK'd so often.
I don't know if it's because, like, sometimes they forget and things are just so quickly happening in those rounds. So sometimes
no, I mean, obviously, yeah. It's
just how it is. And just some Spirits is the one in the forefront a lot of those times.
It's always him. It's never
it
anybody else.
He's always in the forefront. He's always one. He's always the front line pushing in, and sometimes it happens. That's you sign up for that. It was in his contract.
That is true. You pick. You also pick Blitz. Like, come on. You can't be shot from the front, but you gotta expect the bullets from behind. That's on Spirits, actually. That's not even Penguin's fault.
That's on Spirits. You should have dodged those bullets.
Well, anyway, beating hold from OCG. No dining like we saw from Parabellum in the final round, and it's a pretty familiar extension up top. We'll have an Echo, not an Operator. I think we actually have not seen an Echo one single time today. So a bit of a...
Not today, no.
Yeah, a bit new for today, but not new in the game in general. And we'll see, maybe a little bit new for dining. They do have a bit of everything on the side of OCG. Some intel denial in the hands of the Mutant and the Mozzie, some projectile, or some bulletproofs in the hands of Zoinkers. So maybe a bit more of a focus on that intel, both gathering and denial. And for Parabellum, it's obviously been a bit of a problem before, letting Zoinkers rotate up Armory stairs. But for right now, they know that, hey, all we really have to do, if we secure Attic, that's already a lot of what we need to execute onto the site.
If they have control Attic and they can create these holes and deal with those players inside of meeting, they could make this plan happen, but they got to be careful, some flanks, some aggression, those C4s. If they can try and bail out those C4s, try and destroy those yokais, that's probably the next step if they just want to go straight for a push into sites. Though, of course, destroy that mute jammer. Sonar will open up the wall, and now with this open, they can at least now joining out, see who's going to be stopping them from planting. I wonder if there's a yokai available to them to see this happening, and what intel does OCG have, knowing that they have this control? Because otherwise, you just can't let them walk in like that, can you?
No, this is sometimes the issue. If all you do is you're even able to contain Attic and deny anybody from playing in there, you're able to sometimes force a plant at that point if the coverage is adequate in watching the rotations from kitchen to meeting, or just split into meeting as well. Zoinkers will look to rotate down. I thought he was going to, but then he even stopped himself, just as I did. Sonar will send the first. Oh, Benny, we asked earlier. He does have flashes. He does. He also has smokes as well. But with the flashes, the smokes in the hands of Spirits, the Blitz will be sent on in to the rotate. Doesn't find anybody just yet. In fact, he's trapped in his own smoke. We'll finally see one, but put down to 50 HP. He's caused enough chaos. He's allowed Sonar to get the bomb down and Penguin to get the opening pick on the Zoinkers. But it's short-lived. OCG not only trade, they take the man advantage right back in turn. The final 3 members from Parabellum are all on these back tower stairs, stacked on the top floor on the bottom. The bottom is what comes up first. He's able to get one, but not another. Bone will even trade things out. It's a 1v2. The second one for Sonar so far. Spots one, not able to land the shot. Sees Bone. Can he get the second as well? Nova rotates off. 2-0 for Sonar on the 1vx's. Parabellum go to match point thanks to his best efforts.
I know Crow last week talked about Sonar slander, and there will be no Sonar slander today. Sonar with the clutch here in round 9, and now on to round 10. We were on match
me off
point Parabellum, and really that round was, again, like we said before, they had the control they needed. As long as they have those angles covered, especially with the smokes, they can smoke with those players, and they can't peek them from split, so they have to, or the rotate, so they have to peek out, they have to walk out. And sure, it was close though. Plays like Zoinkers, players like Bone were able to bring it back and make it a 1v1 though, because in the end, or 1v2, they were still winning those fights when they were coming out, even though, you know, Spirit's run in as the blitz. He was just stuck in, he just didn't know where he was going. That was kind of unfortunate.
He ran into his smoke. He was like, ah. Oh no, but again, he did allow Sonar to get the bomb down. Overall, good setup by Parabellum, but OCG really came alive. Parabellum, they didn't have too many angles at their disposal, and the ones they did were easily felled by OCG. But you said it, no Sonar slander today after 2 1vx's. Think we can all agree that there's not going to be much Sonar slander after today. And match point as well, though it is a little bit worrying that Parabellum's 1 attacking win so far has come from a 1vx and what was effectively a bit of a failed post plant by them, though maybe it was just a successful retake by OCG, whichever way you want to view it. Parabellum, they need to make something a bit more convincing, but then again, if they do, they've won.
Yeah. Hard to say. Yeah, that was a close one. That was a really good retake. You had someone going upstairs. You had people pushing up on the stage, and they could have, I would say, almost there when that Mozzie got onto the bomb. It was defusing or disabling. I wonder if they could have long-armed that and just stuck it at that point. Hard to say, because you also had the cross angle from Sonar there playing that angle, so he might have been able to deal with them. Hard to say. I don't know what's going to happen. A very sticky situation when it comes to that retake. So still, we go on to what could be our last site here. Back to kids in dorms for OCG. And really, last time it was kind of big. Last time was the fact that they were able to take control, but they were able to just deal and stop them from really the blitz play, because they ran upstairs and they're ready for it.
So an Amaru, huh?
Hey, but dude, Amaro might be the play. You know, they just, if last time, you know, the blitz got stopped because, you know, they just ran up armory stairs, this time just jump in with the Amaro instead. They can't stop that.
Why couldn't we have the Amaru and the Blitz? I feel like both at the same time would have been incredible to watch. But Spirits, he'll go back to his favorite pick of the Ana. Operator we've seen him on quite frequently, but we've also seen him on Blitz a little bit often, so pick your poison, I suppose. But Penguin on that Amaru, I'm very intrigued to see what they do here, because Amaru, sometimes she'll just send it on through a window. Sometimes it'll be 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the round, and then she'll send it on in the window once the execute comes through. For Parabellum, it's certainly, Amaru's not a common operator they run, not a common operator anybody runs, but I imagine, as you can see, not only by Spirits repelling up, but likely the presence of the Amaru, there's going to be a focus on that big window side. Maybe not. There are also favored people over at Big Tower, but I have to imagine that take is coming from over there with the Amaru in play.
Well, if it does come from over there, they have no players over from Moment. They've all pushed that Big Tower side, and if they, last time the Attic play was somewhat worked out, and they were able to get their plant down. It was a 2v2 execute, 2v2 post plant, and Devil with his first C4 on the Sonar. So there goes our hard bridge. They still have Kool-Aid on the Maverick though, so it's still possible for them. But now, because they killed the Habana, they know, hey, we should close things up. We should make it more difficult for them. Make them waste time, because they have to use the Maverick. But Penguin on the timing jumps for it in. GXD has a shotgun and smoke, but is he ready for the fight? No, he's not. Penguin's there. He takes him down. Plant's going down. At this point, they have to retake the site. Penguin's ready and waiting. Nova gets killed on his own. Plant has gone down at this point. C4 from blow from Zoinkers, still playing security, rotates in the kitchen, gets that C4 off. Bones there to get one. Grenades coming through. It's Kool-Aid sitting in sight by himself, but they're not ready for that. Spirits kill his own. Kool-Aid gets one of his own, and that's Kool-Aid to finish him off. And PB end it right there.